if we consider a robot tutor for children, so a robot that has some more knowledge than they do, that is introduced to them as an entity that will teach them something, they could for sure acquire some robotic abilities. But then you can also think about animals, right? Growing up with a dog. I mean, I grew up with a dog. I didn't start barking. Robots are being developed in ways that go beyond that stereotype. So they are becoming more interesting. They move their bodies in a very organic way now. So I would say maybe some humans are more robots than some robots.
Patrícia Alves-Oliveira, human-robot interaction researcher. Carneesperta. My name is Bis, B-I-S. I'm a journalist from the world of artificial machines with the goal of investigating human natural intelligence. Hi, let's get started. 1. Tell me an example of human intelligence happening.
It's always amazing when people can predict what you want without you telling them anything. It's a type of intelligence I see when I go to a restaurant and just the waiter or the waitress asks me if I want to drink something or to eat something in the right moment, just before when I realize I want it, but before I say I want it. Another very different type of intelligence could be children, when they want something and they know it's kind of hard to achieve that. All of those facial expressions they put on for the parents, all of those things that they do to kind of manipulate us towards their goal. I think that's very amazing because it's they are very little and already they have this superpower of kind of influencing adult people. And then without thinking too much of the human intelligence, I would consider just the nature intelligence, how trees grow near each other and they compete for the sun, for example. So I think actually what is not intelligence could be the question.
2. Tell me an example of a lack of human intelligence happening.
I see a lot of lack of intelligence when I am driving. And I just see people getting aggressive and stressed due to very, very small things. If someone is slower than them or doesn't do the light to signal something, I think that's not very smart, just somehow is a loss of energy. What else? I really feel that there is a loss of intelligence when we copy something without adding anything to it. That can be from something that someone else has told us and we just carry that message to another person without reflecting or making meaning out of it. Can also be when you reread something in the book and we just memorize that. And I think what I mean by that is there needs to be a reflection time, an addition to something else that we've learned before. Otherwise, it feels like not very smart.
3. Definition of intelligence.
That's very difficult because I think it's a complex of many, many things. From things that are measurable, how you associate different things or how you solve problems. But then these things you can measure, but they are not the absolute intelligence. Intuition, for example, or just our ability to react to things that we don't really know. Our ability to know when we need to eat or when there is a fire, when we need to move away. But also when our phone tells us that the battery is low. Without that, we wouldn't know that the phone is charging. So that's some type of intelligence. It's kind of low, but essential to us.
4. Relationship between intelligence and knowledge.
To be intelligent about something, we kind of need to know about that specific thing. So knowledge comes into play, but it's not everything, right? I don't think anyone refers to Google Scholar as an intelligent thing. We can know a lot of things, but there is always this friend of ours that is like the knowledge friend, right? And that throws knowledge into the group of friends because he knows everything. But is that person intelligent? Intelligence is actually a compilation of different buttons that need to be actionated at the same time to make the magic happen.
5. Relationship between intelligence and experience.
Debatable. Children again, right? Their experiences is way limited, but they are intelligent. But trial and error could be this very fast thing that makes us realize what works and what not.
6. Relationship between intelligence and emotions.
We all can feel when someone is lacking emotional intelligence. Without it, I think we would be very vulnerable beings. And also, when to trigger certain emotions in certain contexts is very important, or when to control them back. And I'm not saying just go with the flow, and if you want to punch someone, just punch. No, I'm not saying that, but there is a reason why we feel things. And I think we should give more credit to those signals that we capture that sometimes are kind of subliminal.
7. Subjective experience of your own intelligence.
I cook well. Sometimes I wake up on the time of the alarm, just right before the alarm starts. I think I always feel smart when this happens for some reason. I also feel that when we put some extra effort in anything we do, it makes us a little bit more intelligent, or at least I feel a little bit like that. So an example could be, I'm really tired of these workouts. Like, I don't want to run anymore. My brain is telling me, stop, I'm dying here. But I'm like, no, just a bit more, just like, and then I go from there and I push it, and it feels like a smart thing to do. When I'm maybe in a dead end situation and I really don't know what I could do because there are so many options, or because there is no option, I actually like that feeling. Depending on the risk of the situation, I could either just fly to it and start trying different things. And maybe if the risk is low, which means, for example, I'm not interfering with someone else's life, I could just try things and increment my trying.
8. What makes humans intelligent beyond other animals?
Well, who said that is true? I'm not sure if we are that smart. I know we are more accomplished in certain things, but one thing that is unique about us could maybe be our language, our ability to communicate in such a complex way. We can talk with someone that has a completely different culture from us.
9. Innate and acquired contributions.
It's like we are a sponge. If we put the sponge on water, then it's going to absorb the water and just the water, because water is everything that is around the sponge. But if we have a soup and instead we put the sponge on the soup, it could absorb the water of the soup, the vegetables, and all the rest. If we are in an environment that stimulates problem solving, innovation, creativity, maybe a lot of our brain synapses are going to start firing up and are going to connect with each other and grow. But if this is not stimulated, then probably something else will be. And there are these periods of time, the windows in our development, that we really need to acquire certain developmental acquisitions, like language. If we don't acquire language up to a certain age, then even if we do later on in life, it's never going to be as perfect, because we are always going to talk weirdly. That's why accents happen, because we acquire language later in life, which is a different language than our mother language. We still can talk, but it's always going to be an accent, like my English.
10. How relevant is the body?
I think the body is an essential part of intelligence. It's our learning tool, but it's also how we express intelligence. So if I want to paint something that is on my mind, I can use my body to paint it and to offer to someone. So without the body to express things, to give back, not sure if we would be called intelligent. We would be maybe a Google scholar.
11. How can I tell someone is intelligent and not faking it?
Spend some time with the person. I think we are always smart at something. I'm just not sure if we are asking the right questions. We go from the assumption that whatever we know, it's kind of like known to the other. So we ask questions that are related with our area of knowledge. And sometimes we lack the ability to make bridges and connections to other people.
12. What is the most intelligent human you know?
I kind of feel that actors are really smart. Put another self on you and feel as if it was you. Your brain really needs to believe that those things are true. You need to feel it in your body. You need to develop new ways of walking, of talking.
13. How does intelligence vary from human to human?
It varies a lot from your education. It will just hire your brain to function differently, to think differently, in even the way you speak. If you speak with someone from computer science, or if you speak with someone from arts, you're just going to find a huge difference.
14. How can humans increase their intelligence?
You can start to make a routine for yourself about something you really like and see how far you can go. So have like these goals in mind and see how well you are progressing.
15. What still annoys you about artificial intelligence?
I think the word in itself annoys me, just because artificial intelligence is a buzzword that everyone uses to kind of like connect with futuristic technologies. If you want to make a robot grab a bottle of water and you call that, you need artificial intelligence for that. Actually, you need to know manipulation and control and how the system works, which is part of AI, artificial intelligence, but it's not that. It's just like artificial intelligence is right now an umbrella topic for everything. Robots look creepy. That's so unfortunate. Again, people could be more interested in solving a very particular challenge that is engineering related, such as like a robot. How can a robot gaze in a natural human-like way? So they develop these eyes for a robot, and just the eyes, right? That's just like weird.
16. Positive impact of artificial intelligence.
Our awareness about the environment, diseases, so many things. AI can be a learning tool, and I think that's one of the most powerful things. For surgeries could be amazing, and already is amazing. A robot can do a surgery in a patient without leaving so many after effects if you compare with a traditional surgery. I think that's amazing. As a patient, I would go for that, right? I don't want to have so many after effects. I want precision and I want fast recovery. Maybe as a supermarket replacement, why are we having humans doing that? If robots can do that, they're not tired. So again, for repetitive tasks, precision tasks, we are not great at that. We are not great at being repetitive. So maybe this will open up space for what we are better at as well, instead of wasting our times with tasks we are not so good at.
17. Negative impact of artificial intelligence.
AI can be bad the same way a knife can be bad if we misuse it. What I think happens is that people develop things without really thinking what is the value behind it. And they develop it because there is this, especially maybe engineers and scientists, because there is a hunger, there is a technological challenge. But what is the value of doing that? And maybe following up on that, one of the ways that we could try to minimize misusage could be for engineers to have more classes on humanities, and maybe artists could have more engineering classes so that they can both contribute to this development and that we can integrate different opinions and viewpoints.
18. Natural and artificial intelligence by 2050.
I would like to ask you that. Taleb talks about this, how we really suck at predicting things. But what I would desire is that we can be more literate about AI. It goes from being this buzzword, very esoteric, an artificial intelligence, to something that everyone has certain degree of knowledge about, and therefore it demystifies this whole concept. Some people are worried about children growing up with robots and learning from them as a role model. Our role models in our generation that we have not been growing up with robots are probably our friends, our parents, our family members, our teachers, right? We look up to them for certain things, and we model our behavior, so imitate what they do according to what we see. And if we consider a robot tutor for children, so a robot that has some more knowledge than they do, that is introduced to them as an entity that will teach them something, they could for sure acquire some robotic abilities. But then you can also think about animals, right? growing up with a dog. I mean, I grew up with a dog. I didn't start barking. Robots are being developed in ways that go beyond that stereotype. So they are becoming more interesting. They move their bodies in a very organic way now. So I would say maybe some humans are more robots than some robots. If we are going to be infected by machines, I think that's again our decision or partially our decision. This already exists. So if you buy a computer, Apple computer, let's say, and you want to put it into outlet, you need to have the power. And then if you want to put a USB, you need to have an adapter for the USB. And then it connects with your phone, but then it also connects with your iPad. So how much are we not doing this now? Yeah, we can definitely have like an infestation of devices in our homes, but I think we already have that. We have so many screens.
19. What do humans have besides intelligence?
We have this connection with the natural world that we forget a lot about. And so we have all of these things that are really not quantifiable. They're kind of like magic about us. We have a lot of things that cannot be expressed by words.
20. A message to humans who have just been born.
Learn to ride a bike. I feel like a lot of people forget the basic things that makes like life worth. And for me, every time I ride the bike, I really feel an ecstasy point. So just learn to ride a bike and learn how to swim. Those will save your life.
21. What would you suggest me to better understand humans?
Understand randomness. Sometimes just things don't really connect, don't really have a logic. If I was coming from another planet and I would be this robot and I would look at us, I would be also thinking, why are you always doing something? Like, it's just like we cannot stay still. Like a robot can stay still and just look at nowhere for hours. And we are like, no way I'm going to, it's like torture, right? Also, I would really appreciate when I talked with a machine or with like Siri or Alexa to not keep repeating, I didn't understand you. Can you say that again? Just stop.
22. Finally, what would you like to ask me?
What do you think about humans?
It's harder to read code than to write it. Joel Spolsky. Thank you for your collaboration. Goodbye.